It's the most wonderful part of the year. But the place where I'm in now won't be decorated by Christmas lights. What I always notice and find very interesting is when you start to notice things more and look at nature, you start noticing sticks. Look at this. Could be a good weapon. Okay, never mind. You start noticing. You start noticing patterns and other stuff, which many people also talk about. But what I discovered, not many people really mention, is you have these micro locations, and it's so interesting. I just cannot describe it enough. You know, some people that are more on the, let's say, spiritual side of the things, which maybe I have one leg into that world, but I'm not really that much whole about spiritual topics only. But they also say, you know, when you get to a certain point, you can feel the energy of the place. You can feel some positive or negative energy, and it's really not something you imagine, because a lot of different people without prior knowledge of what others said would say the same for the exact spot. And in this case, not only energy is something that I can sense, it's also the plants that can be foraged. It's also mushrooms, and in this specific spot I always find my favorite type of mushroom, which is a hedgehog. This is one of the rare mushroom species that actually can survive frost, and I'm lucky to know few of the places where they hide, to get just few of them. And you know, I don't need a lot. Just this one is gone off, but I'm just showing it as an example. You don't really have to, if you're not in survival situation, of course, you don't really have to care so much about sheer quantity. Just few of the things for flavor, for nutrition. It's pretty much good enough for me. This one is beneath the hornbeam, and I believe this is Turkey oak. It is some kind of oak, most likely Turkey oak. I am not really good at distinguishing. I know what oak is, but distinguishing like the separate subspecies or species, it's a bit difficult for me, but this is what I'm talking about. I need to be very careful, because if I'm standing without looking too much around me, I might stand on one of my favorite mushrooms, and I do not want to do that. Look at this beauty here. It's too wet to gone off. I don't know, it's probably too old. I don't think the frost itself got it, because they are quite frost resistant. There is one there hiding, which is also a bit too old to eat. But I have one that is okay, right here with me. I'm going to show it to you, which is something, just enough to mix with few eggs and be happy in life. The question is, I don't know where should I go now, left or right. Let's look around some more. Look at this. This could be like a small pet. Maybe better seen like this, but actually it is a pet of the stream, temporary one when there is a lot of rain. There is this one here, and then actually the pet continues and is used by humans. So always love to see these combinations of natural pathways and their sort of interconnection with the human ones. Of course, it is easier to follow a natural path than build a whole new one. So there is this idea that nature is pretty much sleeping in December. And apart from the near the end of the month, days are getting darker and darker. And just thinking about that, you wouldn't say, oh, this is a great time to forage things. But you would be surprised. Actually, in some ways, foraging in winter, maybe it's not as much of abundance of foraged stuff, but of stuff you can forage, but there is a lot of things to do, there is a lot of things to see, and it is very easy to spot them. Just being here and looking on the ground. Now, during summer, there is this tall grass and there is debris of all kind and stuff. Well, you know how summer looks. But now, everything is pretty much out in the open, and if there is something growing, you can spot it pretty easily. Almost every plant is well isolated visually, and you only have to know what to look for in order to see it. So in the terms of spotting things, I would really say that winter is better part of the year, early spring as well, than late spring or summer. Here we have some wild onions. These can be easily used as chives. And right next to it, of course this is edible, right next to it, it's salad burnet, also edible. A bit unusual leaves, tiny plant. Interesting taste. I would say you either love it or don't love it, but I wouldn't say many people hate it. Can be eaten raw, can be added to stews, to soups. Just, I think it's not good to cook it for too long because it would lose its flavor, but either way, a very interesting plant. And right next to that one, well, not really next, but just a bit further away, you see that very bright green patch. That is not just any bright green patch. This is chickweed, common chickweed, that is also an edible plant. Imagine that. Actually, since I picked it, I think I'll just take it, put it here with me, maybe add it to some sandwich or something. I prefer when I pick something to use it in some way. I feel sad not to, really. Doesn't make too much sense. But yeah, there you go. There is a video coming up about things that you can forage in December. I'm going to put some of the things I found today there with longer descriptions, the ways how you can use them. So if you're interested, wait for that one. Or check some of the other ones I already have. I think this is where I will finish this very short walk, pondering life in December, enjoying the woods. It is maybe colder, but I really can say it is much more peaceful than the summer ones. Sun is very low on the horizon. So typical and so beautiful part of the year. Be well, cheers, and until next time.